Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking all things manifestation today, but in particular, we are doing 5 tools that are going to help you manifest. Now, something that I have always known to be true since I've been manifesting, I've been a conscious manifester since the first grade, has been the fact that, like, bringing your words and your thoughts into reality is actually simpler than you might imagine. I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's simple. And so today we're going to talk about how to actually get the process going with a few tools that I personally use that I have found amazing results with. And they actually reveal a lot about you so that if you do have any blocks, they come forth so fast. Now, we're going to do just a little talk today about journaling. Now, everyone's like, journaling, come on, that's so stupid. That's so simple. But we're really going to supercharge our manifestations through journaling. And it's not about, just keeping a record of what you do. We're actually intentionally creating reality with our written word. Now, you know, your voice, the pen. These are very powerful tools. These are very, very powerful tools that I think a lot of people take for granted and don't really know how to direct the words, how to direct the writing into a way that is going to bring forth what you're actually asking the universe for. And keeping all your thoughts in your mind, that's like the worst place to store them. Okay. So we need to put them down somewhere. So we're going to talk about it today. First, a little housekeeping. In the show notes and in the chat box, I'm going to put some links. So I wrote a book on journaling, you guys. It is on Amazon. It's $10. If you get it on Kindle, it's $5. It's not a lot of money, but there are different techniques in here that you can use to help you with your journaling journey, your journaling journey. Awesome. Okay. Here's also, like I said, it's $10. Follow the QR code if you want. And it's really not about convincing the universe to give you something. It is about becoming the version of yourself who can receive it, who can accept it, who can bring it into your life. And you're going to naturally create whatever it is that you desire when you really unlock all of those fears, doubts, and insecurities. And all right, let's go. So, writing. Let's talk about writing in itself. So, writing as a tool, it forces you to really slow down. It forces you to focus. It forces you to commit to paper exactly what you're thinking. And this is the best part about it, is because when you start to write something, you're taking this like thought, bringing it into emotion, committing it to paper. So we're bringing it from the ether, from the idea stage, and putting it onto paper. So it's actually manifested at that moment. It is on paper. It has been created in the world. I know it's not the thing that you're trying to create, but the idea now manifested, now real in this universe. So keeping the thought in your head, it's always sort of tainted by different thoughts, beliefs, and systems and programs that we've been running on our entire lives. Like, for instance, if I have the thought of, oh, I want to buy a new car. Oh, well, that's going to cost a lot of money, but I already have one. But, if I get a new one, what will people say? Like, what if I get robbed? Like, all the thoughts start to swirl around it and start to cloud the idea and the feeling around buying a new car. So when you commit it to paper, it focuses that thought. It laser focuses. It makes it 100% into one thought, one idea. And when you have the other thoughts, then you can start to sort of piece apart the thought that you want versus the thoughts that are clouding it. So the thoughts that you're clouding it, you never bring those to manifest. You bring the one that you've written down. Okay. So you keep the emotion and the intention with when you're writing it down. So there's many different pieces to actually writing it down. It's not just I'm writing something down. You're writing it down with intention, you're writing it down with desire, and there are ways to do that. So traditional journaling is like a documenting of your life. Like you're writing down, okay, today I went to work, I got in a fight with that lady from the front office and we got into an argument and she did this to me. And then I came home and I had dinner. Maybe I ate a little bit too much. And, I had a talk with my boyfriend. It was great. It was wonderful. It was just like kind of a documenting of like a timeline. And that's fine. That's wonderful. That can help you process emotions. But when we are intentionally trying to manifest using our journaling, we want to rehearse possibilities. We want to step into identity. We want to create the future doing this. So it's very different, thinking about ways that we're trying to manifest versus just documenting what's happening in our life. Now, documenting what's happening in our life is a wonderful thing. It heals the person who you were. Intentional journaling is building the version of you that is manifesting, the person you are becoming. So there is a difference between, using it as a way to process emotions versus bringing into reality what you're trying to create. So think about this. So we have our thoughts, we have our words, we have our identity, we have what we do, and we have results. So that is the process of getting the idea from the universe, from the ether, and bringing it out into the universe. Okay, you have the idea, you have the thoughts, you think about it, you talk about it, you write about it, you become that person, and then you do things as that person, and then you're going to have the results. So be, do, have. You guys know that is my favorite model because it is the model. When you become the person that can hold the thing that you want, then you do the actions that are going to lead to pulling in your manifestation into your life. So the thing to note is, so Neville Goddard talks about living in the end. And living in the end means you're living as if you already have the thing that you want. So your brain responds to thoughts that you have, right? So if you're thinking, I have this experience where, let's say, okay, you had a fight with your boyfriend. You're living that in your head. But if you replay that instance, but you guys actually had a productive conversation, your brain cannot discern what happened versus what you think happened. It's an amazing phenomenon where your brain doesn't distinguish what the real memory is versus what the creative memory is. Now, logically that you had the fight, but the experience of it is what we're training our brain to notice. It's what we're training our brain to actually see and witness. And when you do that, you start to pull in more experiences of the one that you want versus continually experiencing the bad stuff. So we're going to talk about how to do that in a second. So the first tool that we're going to use is the morning journaling. Now, I've talked about this on my YouTube before, but I really want to get into really deep dive into how to do morning journaling, because morning journaling for me, it sets my day up with just the most powerful intention ever. So morning journaling, again, isn't going to talk about what you hope happens throughout the day. You're not going to go forward and say, okay, well, I have to go to work. I'm going to go to church. I have to, go get my hair done, and I have to go do this, and then I should be home and go to bed at that. That's retelling. That's recounting. That's hoping, wishing, praying. That's not what we're trying to do. The technique is, okay, for me, it's 4:00 in the morning and I'm journaling for my day. I'm going to pretend that it's 8 p.m. at night, and I'm going to retell my day like it already happened. So yes, I am recounting my day, but I'm going to tell it from the perspective of it's already happened. It has already been done. Everything that transpired throughout the day, I've already lived it. And with each instance and each circumstance, I'm going to inject the most positive outcome that I could possibly do. So for instance, if I were journaling at 4 o'clock in the morning, just telling my day, okay, I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go to the gym, I work, my husband came home, we had dinner and took a shower, went to bed. Okay. That's just a recount. Now, with this technique, what I would do is, oh my God, what a wonderful day today. I had such an amazing breakfast. It was 2 eggs and some waffles. The syrup was warm. Like, who warms up their syrup? Oh, this girl does. Okay, so then I wound up going to the gym and I hit a PR in deadlifts. I haven't hit this number ever in my life. It was actually really exciting. And the people cheered for me. That was amazing. And then at work, I signed 2 more clients and I came up with 3 reels that were really awesome. And they went viral, hitting 1 million views each. I had such an amazing day. And then I got home, I finished working and my husband got home and he brought me flowers and we had dinner together. We just had such an amazing conversation. And then I took a shower, a nice warm shower. I got into my fuzzy slippers and now here I am in bed ready to go to sleep. Like, can you feel the difference in energy? Just from me saying, okay, this is what I want to happen versus this is what I experienced happening with excitement. So you're already starting up with so much positive energy that has been injected into every single instance of what it is that you're trying to do that day. But you're, again, telling your brain, we've experienced this already. This has already happened. So you're training your brain to notice these good positive outcomes and you're pulling more of that in. Just like I said, we're not looking to hope. We're not looking to wish. We're not looking to have like something happen. In our minds, it's already happened. And that is exactly what Neville Goddard was talking about, living in the end. So you do that for the end. Now, you can do this once a week where you can like live out your week. You can do it for the month where you've lived out for the month. You can do it for the year where you lived out for the year. So let's say you're doing it for the year and you're sitting there, it's January 1st and you're doing your vision board and you're going to journal for the year. You would pretend it's December 31st of the end of the year. And you would recount, oh, what happened throughout January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And you would go through all of these, injecting so much excitement and fun and love into the things that you want to happen, like the vacations that you take, the job you get, the promotion you get, the money you make, the car you buy, the relationship you start, the relationship that flourishes, the children you have, whatever it is that like comes to mind, you can do that like with any sort of timeline. Now, this is not about being fancy, like it's not fantasy and it's not lying. You're setting an energetic expectation of what is possible in your life. Now, personally, I love to add in really exciting things that could potentially happen. Like I go to the gym and I meet a celebrity, or I go to the coffee shop and somebody randomly buys me a coffee, or, just injecting some sort of spontaneity, injecting some sort of like fun thing that could potentially happen. Now, am I going around meeting celebrities left and right? No, but I will tell you the other day, I had a friend from an old job come to the gym that I go to. Like I hadn't seen them in a while. I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like just randomly out of nowhere did I see them. I didn't know they went to my gym because I went at a random time. And so it just leaves so much room for spontaneity. Okay, let's go to the next one. So we're really, my hair's getting stuck in my glasses, y'all. So we're talking about what the energetic expectation is. So we're not saying things like I had a meeting or I went to the gym. We're saying, oh, I went to the gym. I hit a PR. I had such a great exercise. It was all sweaty. And, I got to go to the sauna and take a dip in the cold plunge. Like we're injecting so much fun and love and kindness and excitement into the different instances. So we're not just recounting from the future. We're recounting with the energy of like how you want your day to go. So, and like I said, always leave room for unexpected blessings. This statement right here, I received unexpected good news today. Whenever you're doing this journaling, you're going to get so much good news. Like you're going to be like, how is it that I'm getting so much good news? And it's just so fun because to me, doing that is such a confirmation that the universe is listening. Like when you do that, you're going to start to notice, oh, the universe is listening. The universe is paying attention. The universe is here to pull for my wins. So try to keep that line in there too. So the second way in which, well, this is like the third. I think I've already given you guys 2 or 3. No, so anyways, the night journaling. We're rewriting our day. So just like every single day, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that don't go the way that we expect them, things we didn't plan, things we wish we could have had that was better. We're going to now take that and rewrite it. So if today wasn't your favorite day, you get to fix that. You get to relive it. You get to rewrite it. You get to reprogram your brain to experience it in a different way. So we're not denying that reality is happening, but we are rewiring how our brain is looking at the situations. So let's see. Okay, here are some amazing examples. So at nighttime, what you're going to do is you're going to sit and you're going to think, now it's actually 8 p.m. and I'm ready to go to bed and I gotta journal. So now I go through my day in my head and I think, okay, where did things not go my way? Okay, well, I hit a little bit of traffic. I, got into it with my coworker. And we're thinking, okay, this bad thing happened to me. This thing that I didn't like happened to me. This thing that wasn't ideal happened to me. What do? We rewrite it. So let's talk about my coworker upset me and we got into it. I would write something along the lines of, we had a discussion that was very productive. She stated her opinion. I stated my opinion. We came to a mutual decision that we were going to come back to this later on. And like we're really diffusing that situation in this present moment. So while in the moment, it might have been heightened and you might have been argumentative and you might have been like, no, I'm right. And she's like, no, I'm right. And you're like, no, I'm right. And you guys keep going back and forth and nothing really productive came of it. This is where you can, in your mind, rehearse, okay, she brought her point across and I brought my point across and we agreed to disagree and we will come back to it with love, kindness, and caring in the future after we have processed our emotions. It's not about lying. It's not about denying. It's about retraining our brain and how to look at it. So with the example of the traffic where you're like road raging at everybody, beeping like, hello, like move it. I got to get to work. Oh, I got to get to this place. Come on. Like I hate traffic. Ugh. You get to retrain your mind how you view it. So you're writing, I got to listen to my podcast today. I really started thinking about some things that the speaker was talking about in terms of manifestation. And I really believe that all my dreams are going to come true. And, being in traffic allowed me that space. So you get to really reframe how those days went. Now, this one is pretty tricky. And at first, it might feel like you're lying. It might feel like, oh, I don't really feel like that. I don't really feel like, it was a good thing I was in traffic. I don't feel like the argument was a good thing. And you're right, because those instances weren't in the way that you were framing it. We are reframing it so that we can look at it in a different light. We have to ask ourselves things like, how could I potentially look at this from another angle? How could the other person have really been what could they have really been trying to communicate? Or how can I potentially look at this so that everyone in it is benefiting? And so this is a real thought experiment, thought exercise that we have to stretch beyond our limits. So this one is really, really tough, but I love doing this. And you get to rewrite it in any way that you want. And again, I love really reframing these things as like, oh, that it was just like a silly thing. Like I always love like the whole traffic thing, because let me tell you, I got a little bit of road ragey because I just don't like traffic. But now, whenever I do have those instances, because they're few and far between these days, but whenever I do have those instances, I'm like, oh man, the little angry monster came out today and she was having so much fun playing in traffic. But, in that time, I got to really witness who I really am. And then I got to calm myself down. I got to practice self-soothing. So it becomes more than just like this thing that happened. You get to start to really play with yourself and see how your mind works and how you get to process it and how you reframe things so that they are a better instance. Okay. Now let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is number one, number two, number three, the best way to manifest and to multiply your manifestations. So this is the fastest way to change your emotional state, in my opinion. Now, there might be other ways to do it. I know EFT tapping is really helpful to people, dancing, just having a thing of coffee. But for me, gratitude lists are so amazing because they bring to your awareness all of the blessings and gifts that you have in your life. And so for me, what really, really, really I think is important is thinking every single day at least of 10 things to be grateful for, because it's easy to do 3. At 5, it starts to get a little, but 10 things every single day for you to like think of that you're grateful for. Trust me, that's tricky. That's really tricky, because there are some days where I get up and I'm like, I'm grateful for oxygen. And that's like all I can think of. Like, I'm grateful that hydrogen and oxygen and the other oxygen came together and made an oxygen molecule that came into my lungs. Like, that's how detailed I have to get some days, because I don't get up all happy. Like, I know I get up early in the morning, but that does not make me a morning person, just FYI. Now, sometimes they are the most profound and like deep and things like, yeah, that's wonderful. But sometimes you really got to dig in deep and think, what is it that I can truly be appreciative of and get into this, this mode of high vibration. And that's going to set your day up for 100% success. And then even doing it in the middle of the day, even doing it at nighttime, they all have their benefits. But gratitude, I love it. Now, here's how I would work with the gratitude in terms of the journaling, in terms of the manifestation. So let's say you're trying to manifest the car. Okay, I don't know why I'm picking on a car when I was like making these slides, but we're talking about cars today. So let's say you're trying to manifest the car and you're thinking, I want this car, da 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 da. Okay, so what? You are going to start to look at what you have in that realm. So think of the car that you already have. And every single day, you are going to do your gratitude list around your car. Now, I know the immediate thing that people start thinking is like, oh, but I want another car. I don't want this car. Right. But you cannot graduate to the next level without having dominated the level that you're on with gratitude. So how do you do that? Again, and I did this with my car when I first got it because I had a little bit of buyer's remorse. I spent a lot of money on my car and I was like, what did I do? I shouldn't have done that. Like I should have, bought a cheaper car and then invested it. And like I had so many negative thoughts with my car. And like all of these little things kept happening to my car that I was like, like I shouldn't have paid all this money. And like I was under warranty, so they were fixing it. It wasn't like I was paying, but it was annoying that like all this stuff was happening. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to love on my car. What I did was I was like, I love the fact that, the heater works in the winter. I love that the AC works in the summer. I love that it has a cup holder so I can put my little drink. I love that it has a sunroof so that I can look up at the sky when I'm parked. I love that it has a windshield to protect me from getting hit from all the bugs. I love that it takes me and my children safely to where we need to go. I love that it has the trunk so that I can put stuff back there for safekeeping. Like I just went down the list of like every single thing about it. And can I tell you, I have not had one issue with the car ever since I did that. Not one. I've had the car for 4 years now. The first like 3 months until I did this practice, everything was going wrong with this car. Not one issue, not one thing, nothing has gone wrong with this car since I did this practice. So you guys just don't even understand how powerful gratitude is, how powerful your words are, how powerful writing them down is until you actually inject every single positive emotion into them. Like it's wild, the stuff that happens. So the reason that I'm talking about the gratitude and all of this is because when you're doing your journaling, you don't want to start your journaling at the beginning of the day or at nighttime. You don't want to do it from a low vibration. So getting yourself into high vibration, gratitude, EFT tapping, dancing, singing, working out, swimming, biking, whatever it is, the minute that you're like done with it, the minute that like you're like feeling that energy, that's when you're supposed to be doing your journaling. So in the morning, for me, I'd like to do my journaling first thing in the morning. So I go through a whole process in order to be able to get there. I listen to some spiritual stuff. I read the Bible. I meditate. I do my gratitude list. And then I do my journaling practice, which is why my entire morning routine is like a 5-hour routine. But I digress. Point is that you want to get to a high vibration before you're doing this journaling. And it's not just about even being at 100%. So getting to 100% like at 4:00 in the morning, that's just not realistic. That's not going to happen. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that my energy is going to be way higher than if I were to just go from the bed to the journal. So I take some time, I raise my vibration as high as I possibly can. And then I do it. So it's not about being perfect at this. It's not about, oh, you have to be so excited and on a high and excited and like your heart beating out of your chest and welled up with love. No, it's about being 1% more than you were. Raising that vibration just 1% more. Just keep going. Just 1% more, 1%, as much as you possibly can. And when you feel that like actual gratitude, pen to paper, go at it, start writing everything down and start really putting the thoughts down there. And remember this, meet yourself where you're at. If your nervous system rejects the statement, bag it. So it would be nice to do all of this and be like, oh, I'm a billionaire. But our brain is like, no, like you got bills to pay. The bill collector's calling you. You cannot convince me that you're a billionaire. Right. And this isn't about diminishing your dream. This isn't about diminishing who you are. It's not about diminishing your light. What it is about really focusing in on, okay, how can I start to build my manifestation muscle? How can I start to build like the direction that I'm going in? So let's say you do want to be a billionaire. Okay, first step is first, my bills are paid. All my bills are paid. I have zero credit card debt. I have zero student loans. I have zero car loan. All of that came true. So you're living from that reality. Then once you dominate that and that happens, then you go to the next thing. Oh, I'm building my business and I have 10 customers, and then I have 100 customers, then I have 1,000 customers, then I have, then you keep going, so on and so forth. So it's not about diminishing what it is, but it's like you really have to think about, what do you actually believe? And then simultaneously be working on the programming that's behind it. So also working with a coach. Hi, I'm Andy. And really figuring out, why is it that you cannot believe that you're a billionaire? Why is it that you cannot believe that you have the successful business? Why is it that you don't believe that you can't have the relationship that you want? What is it that you believe that is stopping you from having the thing that you want, doing the things that you need to do, and being the person who can receive those things? Be, do, have. It always comes back to that. Okay, so your wish list. So we want to practice our wish list from like every single morning. So I have a notebook. It is not here, but my notebook is approximately this size, and I write down all my wishes. Now, what is a wish? It is not I want, I hope, maybe someday. It is I have. It is I am. It is I am doing. It is statements in the present. So they have to be in the present, they have to be first person, and they have to be in the affirmative. So it's not I want to help people. It is I am helping thousands of people transform their lives. It's not I hope to be driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's I love driving my Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's not someday I'm going to be serving incredible clients. Is I am serving incredible clients. I am doing that. Again, if the statement is too big and bold and you're convincing yourself, no, I'm not doing those things, then you have to work on those self-limiting beliefs. And again, with a coach, a therapist, a mentor, a guide, whatever it is that is stopping you from having those thoughts, and knowing you're worthy, knowing you're capable, and knowing that it's just in your destiny to have it, like really breaking those boundaries and those walls to get to the place where you can say those statements and be like, yeah, that's just who I am. That's just how badass I am. This is inevitable that I'm going to have this. It is inevitable. It's my destiny. It's my fate. It's going to happen. And then writing it down, like you have to connect the dots and get to that point. So the daily cycle of transformation. Man, these are the 4 tools that I use. Did I say 5 earlier? Okay, well, we got 4. So we got morning journaling, create the future with intention. 2, night journaling, redeem the past with resilience. Okay. 3, gratitude, raise your vibration with gratitude and appreciation and love for everything that you currently have. Do not disrespect the present by saying it is not good enough. Show respect to what you have, show appreciation, and use it as a launch pad to like propel you to the next dimension. And then your wish list. Dream bigger from that emotionally high vibration, that elevated emotional state. You can dream, you can world build. You know what I love doing in the morning? So my dream is to own a home that has a pool. Like that is my next manifestation. I'm just going to throw it out there. Every morning I go on Zillow and I dream build. I'm looking at houses like, oh, how much does this give me? What does this give me? Oh, where can I get this? How much, like, if I got this, where would it need to be? Or what status? Like, what does it look like? But I'm always dreaming and envisioning myself in these homes and living out this future. And it just like puts me in such a high vibration that I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait till I'm swimming in my pool. Like, it is so exciting. And again, learn how to build your world around the thing that you want. You should always be constantly thinking about your manifestation. You have to want it bad. You have to be very consistent about the desire for this thing. That is how you get it, is not only the intensity with which you think of your manifestation, but how long you actually hold that positive thought of your manifestation. So let's see. The practice that changed everything. So the beginning, starting the practice with simple gratitude. Remember, raise your vibration, get 1% more excited, get 2% more excited, 3%, 4%. Just raise the vibration from your default state and shift. Notice the changes in your daily thinking and your resilience. Notice how your thought patterns change, how you're not always looking for the negative things, how you're not always looking for, oh, how did that destroy me? How are they out to get me? How this is so bad. Like, how could I possibly win under these circumstances? Notice that your brain starts to look for the positive in life. And then writing your first journaling book from a place of elevated intention. See, I love my journals. Like, I have 2.5 drawers filled with them. And I get to look at them and say, oh, wow, look at how much my brain has changed. Look at how much everything in my life has changed since this point. All the things that I had hoped and wished for, I'm actually living it right now. How exciting is that? And then finally, with the result, watching the physical manifestations appear in real time. Like, if I could just tell you guys like how much I have manifested in my life, like, if people think it is like mundane stuff that I'm like manifesting, but I tell you, I manifest brand new journals all the time. Like, I don't think I've paid for a journal in about 3 or 4 years, because I know that every time I'm about to finish a journal, I happen to get a new one. Somebody buys me one. I happen to find one that I forgot I had. I happen to, go to an event where they're giving out journals and I get one for free. So like, I have a ton of journals that like are free. I haven't had to pay. Like, and you might think, well, that's dumb. It's not. It's the power of belief. And when you start to apply that and like really focus on the muscle of pulling things into your life, you're going to start to see how much you're actually manifesting in your life. The little things to the big things, to the impossible, to the blessing, to the infinite. It is so beautiful when you start to become a conscious manifester, because not only are you pulling good things into your life, but you are also developing as a human. You're evolving as a human and becoming more than you ever wished, hoped, or dreamed you could ever be. Take away, this practice is a non-negotiable. Like, this is my non-negotiable. You cannot take away my journal from me at all. Like, if there's one thing that I would ever recommend to anybody, it's journaling. That's why I wrote a book about it, y'all. I'm telling you, journaling is the way to go. For me, anyways. There are plenty of other practices that are super beneficial, but for me, when you hone the craft of the written word, empower that and couple it with future living, empower it with gratitude, you become unstoppable. Okay, with that, any questions? If you want, you can write it in the chat. If not, I have a couple of questions that have been submitted to me, and I would be happy to answer. All right. So if you're going to write it in the chat, let me start with one that was submitted to me. How long does it take before journaling starts to make a difference? Day one, absolutely day one. So journaling, again, if you're following the steps, if you are pulling them intentionally the way that I'm saying, if you are talking about stuff and you're doing it, you can see effects from the very first day. Now, sometimes we have mental hurdles, we have fears, doubts, insecurities, self-limiting beliefs that prevent us from seeing the magic of it. Sometimes we think, oh, it was just a coincidence. Oh, that was going to happen anyways. But it wasn't. So we really have to start to get into the mindset of magical thinking, the power of journaling, the power of our words, the power of the written word. And once we get into that mindset that this is like actually going to work, once we start to see and build that muscle, like you're going to start to see it get more powerful. You're going to start to see it become more prevalent in your life. And it's just amazing. Okay, let's see. What if I don't believe what I'm writing? Doesn't it feel fake? Right. We're not lying to ourselves. If you do not believe what you are writing, you're writing the wrong things. And you're writing it possibly from an I already have this thing versus I've already experienced this thing. You see, there's like a subtle difference. So I have this thing. Your brain is like, no, we don't. Currently, at this point in time, we do not have that. But if we think about it in that I've experienced this thing and this is what it made me feel, this is what I saw, this is what I did, that's different. Even though you know logically that you didn't experience it, emotionally and vibrationally, you're feeling what it would have felt like to go through it. You're vibrationally feeling that intensity of, oh, that whirlwind romance, or driving that convertible, or going on that cruise ship, or whatever it was. Like you're living it like in your heart, in your mind, and you're like envisioning it, sort of like a daydream, but not from the daydream that it's happening in the future, but from the daydream of like it's already happened. Subtle difference, but very powerful difference. All right, let's see. Last question. Can I journal about multiple goals at once, or should I focus on just one? So it depends. Now, when you're doing the morning journaling, you're pretty much talking about one day. Then I've lumped it into one day. I mean, you could do it for the week, for the month, for the year, whatever you're doing, but you're lumping it into one day. Okay. So yes, there are little parts that are in there that you're like injecting stuff for, like going to work. You're injecting emotions into the meals you ate. You're injecting emotions into going to the gym. You're injecting emotions in your commute, or whatever it is that you journaled about. You're injecting positive emotions into those things, so that the overall feel of the day will have been positive. And so at the end of the day, when you're doing it and all those little pieces that didn't quite line up, you're going to re-script those too. So you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Now, let's say if you're honing in on something bigger and just like one thing, like a car, that should be your dominating thought, not a trip, not a car, because you're pulling your energy in several different directions. So you don't want to do that. Now, when you're doing morning scripting, let's say that you are setting up for your day, but you're trying to manifest going to a trip on a cruise to the Greek Isles, right? You're like, oh, this is okay. Your day should have injected this. Oh, thank you for today. I wound up going to the gym. I'm getting ready for my Greek vacation. And then, for lunch, I went to the Greek restaurant and I had moussaka, and it was so delicious. And then I got home and then I put on some Greek music and me and my husband danced to it. Like, you need to be infusing not only your day with the amazing energetics of positivity, gratitude, love, spirituality, and all that wonderful stuff, but it should also tie in that big thing that you're trying to do. And that's where your mind has to be. It has to be like it is surrounding that thing that I'm trying to manifest. So that's like another layer to it. So really, I feel like I've given you guys maybe about like 10 different tools in this. You guys got a lot more out of me than I was expecting to give. But with that said, you guys, I host these master classes every Thursday, noon Eastern time. In the show notes, there's going to be a link to what am I trying to say? To sign up for them. You guys can also go to my website and book a discovery call with me if you're looking for coaching on how to manifest more powerfully, more strongly for your own life, how to really start to pull in your hopes, wishes, dreams, desires into your life. With that, guys, I love you. Bye. Yeah.